Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide. And yeah, it's here. MDO 2027 is back, and this time it brings quite a few new things to the table. Stick around. So the new version is out and we got the 2027 on the cover. That's it? Not quite. You've asked and I've listened and worked very hard to try and make something like this happen, which is what's going to be launched here, and that is a couple of new things. My daily organizer now comes in 3 distinct variants. The annual, which follows the calendar year, starts at January 1st, ends at December 31st, and that is your standard MDO that we've had up until now. But there are 2 new versions as well to choose from if that's something that suits your needs better. We have the academic version, which starts from July 1st and ends in June 30th. And this one is meant to accommodate for the academic type of a school year. And it's not just for students, it's also for staff. Because I know from my own teaching experience when I worked as a 3D animation teacher in Christiania and Oslo, we would frequently start work sometime in July, even though the school year would start mid to end August. The classes and everything starts much later, but for us behind the scenes, it starts at least a month earlier, and I know that I always needed to make some plans in July. So that's why July is included in the academic version of the MDO, but you will see that July and the June month are a little bit kind of grayed out in the year calendar. Why? Well, simply because it's a differentiation between school year and pre-term and post-term work. Similarly, as classes would end pretty much end of May, I would still have quite a bit of work left in June to do with grading and a little bit of more administrative things, which is something that you can think of post-term type of a period. So the academic version includes pre-term July, then the academic year, August until end of May, and post-term month of June for the academic year, and naturally it spans 2027 to 2028. And there's a third version, and that is a fiscal version of the year for 2027-2028, and that one follows the fiscal year type of calendar. So the year starts on April 1st and ends on March 31st the following year. And then we have another thing that's actually quite new to the My Daily Organizer, because this time, yeah, it comes in color variations as well. I was, for the longest period of time, not sure that I'm going to be doing that, because matching a color palette that's going to work okay across the myriad of Kaleido 3 devices, all of which are calibrated differently to show colors completely differently and then different technologies, it was a daunting task, but I decided to actually just try it out, and I decided on 4 palettes, each of which actually comes in 2 variations. The neutral one, which contains the color, just a tiniest bit of splash of color to kind of give you a hint of a color, so very neutral, or a tinted version, which is with more colors, a little bit more kind of pumped up, to offer you an alternative of the same type of color palette. Now, these color palettes and these 4 choices have been carefully calibrated, and I think I went over something like 32 or 34 versions and iterations of different ones, testing them on Books devices, on the Remarkable Paper Pro, on the Kindle Scribe Color, on the Penstar eNote Pro, like all of the color devices that are typically in use that I could get my hands on, to try and understand and test a myriad of collages and palettes and see like, okay, which calibration works here, there, to find a Venn diagram where and which colors are basically unified to be represented the most equally, and that they work okay as possible across all of these devices. So that's what these 4 palettes represent, and that's what those 2 variations also represent, to accommodate for different tastes and different devices and technologies used. And that's not all, because like always, I strive to improve MDO in any way that I can. And with your help and support over the years, since MDO 2021, now we're coming to 2027, which is absolutely fantastic, so thank you so much. But your feedback and your real-world experiences are absolutely invaluable. So I've used a lot of that and collated a lot of stuff that you've been coming back with, and although the majority of the feedback is very, very positive, I was keeping an ear out to those little things where it's like, oh, I really like that, I wish it was that, but it's great. So those I wish it had that, if it was something that I thought that I could do something about, I would kind of jot them down so that I can go through that list when I start working on the next version. I've completely revamped the production method of how these are now produced, and that has allowed for a completely new level of precision. And even though I tried and I largely managed to get an excellent level of precision for the previous version of the MDO, this one I'm really proud and happy to say that I managed to kind of crank it up. And when you actually put the old 2026, which was really good in my opinion, and it looked very nice, but you put it against the 2027 on the same device side by side, well, then the differences of those pixel perfect precisions and sharpening things up and making everything as perfect as possible, those are a lot of layers of small changes, but they do amount to a considerable change. So this version of MDO is the cleanest and the most precise version of MDO that I've ever been able to produce, all in the hopes so that I can bring you a product that's even easier to use and more enjoyable to use across different platforms. And not only that, this is the nerdy part of me, I managed to squeeze the native size of the PDF even further, and now it's the smallest version as well at 3.4 megabytes for a document that is roughly at around 1,800 pages and well over 13,000 links. So that's what's new about MDO. But if you're a newcomer and then you're going like, well, wait a minute, what is MDO? Well, MDO is my daily organizer. It is an organizer PDF file that helps you organize all of your yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily organizing needs with a little bit of extras. But it's important to remember that it's not an app. It follows the logic and the benefits and the limitations of a traditional analog style planner. Alright, so it's just a bunch of pages, right? Well, yes and no, because the power behind the MDO is extremely careful and thoughtful user interface design and execution of how you can easily interact and navigate through this document. So even though it's a PDF document, it's a very advanced document with an advanced design that allows you for completely effortless navigation through all of these 1,800 pages. So here's what MDO consists of. You start with the yearly calendar page where you have your year overview with the months and the days all there that you can interact with. And of course you have the My Lists and My Notes available throughout the entirety of the document. You also have access to quarters, Q1 to Q4. All of these you can interact with by simply tapping with your finger or with the stylus, depending on what platform you. So if you want to go to a month, you tap on the month and the planner will take you to a monthly organizer page. If you want to go to a day, you tap on a day in the year and you will be transported there. Then we have the quarterly planners. They narrow down the choice to the quarter, where again you have the access to the month and the day of the said quarter with a little bit of room to just kind of jot down some basics that you may need for a certain period of time. It can be on a day, but it can also be encompass a whole week should you choose to do so. Then we go down to the monthly planner, and on the monthly planner we start to have a little bit more because we're zooming in, right? So now you have zoomed in view of the whole month and you have access to each of the days if you tap on the top of the day mark. It's important to know that the link box to interact to go to the day page is the whole header of the box, but not the whole box. Why not? So that it doesn't interfere with you making entries into the daily boxes in the monthly planner. The monthly page also introduces a standard type of a header where you will have different elements, but you will have a constant thing, which is left and right arrows for previous and next months. So you can easily kind of swap between next month or previous month. This is a universal type of user interface control which follows through the week and daily organizer, so you can easily navigate between different months, weeks, or days. Lastly, you will also notice on the right hand side that the weeks are also listed in the monthly view, and those are interactive links boxes as well. So if you tap on the week number that you're interested in, the planner will get you to the corresponding weekly planner page. Now that we are on a weekly planner page, well, in the header you can see some things that are a little bit different. You can go to the relevant month, year, and the weekly notes and things like that, which are, relevant to the planner, but you also have that previous and next week, which you can just simply tap to very quickly navigate between previous, current, or next week. The week page consists out of all 7 weekdays, of course, for each of which you have a list for your plans that you have for that day. And we also have an extra box, which is weekly goals, where you can jot down your goals and see at the end of the week what was done, what was not done, or any kind of remarks of that sort. Each of the days is a link box that will take you to the dedicated day planner. But before you head on to the days, you need to know that you also have the weekly notes planner page per week, which is simply a blank page associated with that week where you can make all of your notes should you need a little bit more extra room for notes to be jotted down for that week. So from anywhere in the calendar, from yearly, quarterly, monthly, or weekly pages, you have the access to the days in the year, and when you tap on them, you will end up in the main heart of the page, which is the daily planner page. And correspondingly, this one offers the most amount of functionality. So you will see in the header that you can see the day, the date, the day name. You can go back to the corresponding month. You can directly go back to the corresponding week and the weekly notes if you choose to, and of course the yearly calendar. And you also have the previous and next day arrows there for easy navigation between the days. Each day is accompanied by dedicated 2 extra pages of daily notes. You can access daily notes either by flipping a page or tapping on the daily notes button to get to the daily notes 1 page, and then if you flip the next page, you are on the daily notes 2 page. And you also have the daily diary page, which is there for your own personal reflection and gratitude practices, if that is something that you do. And if you don't already do that, it's something that you actually may find genuinely helpful. Back on the daily planner page, it's actually divided into 2 vertical columns. On the right hand side column, you will have your scheduler, and the scheduler shows the time from 5 a.m. all the way down to 11 p.m. or 5 to 23. You will see that the column is divided into 2 lines, a full line and a dotted line. Full line represents the full hour, and that's where the number sits on, as if you had wrote it down on the line, and the dotted line is the half-hour mark. And that helps with actually planning out things and figuring things out. So that basically is your core of the planner, and depending on if you choose a 24-hour time format or 12-hour format, this will be reflected here. So if you choose a 24-hour format, it will be 5 to 23. If you choose a 12-hour format, it will be 5 all the way to 11, switching between AM and PM, and you can choose, mix and match which one suits your needs the best. Similarly, in all packages, you will also receive automatically the different versions for the time format and also the Monday or Sunday week start standards, which are reflected throughout the entirety of the calendar naturally. Typical use of the daily planner page is basically intended for you to zoom in into the section that you want, and it's designed so that these columns basically fill in a page in a very, very comfortable way so that you can have a normal, natural way to fill things in, and then when you're done, you simply zoom out and you can zoom in to the next section. So let's say I want to update the section here between noon and 2 o'clock, and then I go from, okay, so this is my full hour, this is my half hour, so maybe I have lunch time in here, and I will just draw a little bit brackets and then continue on with the meeting and everything else that I may have scheduled that way. So this is the type of a workflow that helps you intentionally focus on certain types of areas of your daily planning. So you can focus on, oh, now I need to think about scheduling, and you literally physically focus on that section. And then you zoom out. Okay, then I'll do that. So now I need to focus on my to-do list. Whoop, you zoom in, you fill it in, you maybe stay in it while you're doing these tasks and you're not distracted by anything else, and then you zoom out so you can see the whole picture. So that is the logic, and that's basically the heart of MDO and how it functions. It's important to understand that this type of format and this type of organizer has its own limitations, and the most important limitations are because it's not an app, it doesn't have any type of services or any type of ability to automatically synchronize to your Google Calendar or anything like that, because it's not meant for that. You already have tools for it. This is meant for you. It's designed to work in conjunction as a supplement to your other digital planning tools. And also as such, it doesn't have the ability to automatically copy paste tools. So if you write something as a task in a weekly thing, it will not reflect itself automatically in monthly or daily things. It is best to think of it as a traditional paper analog style planner that is simple and easy to use on your digital e-paper device. What about requirements? What can it run on? Well, it runs basically on any device and any platform that fulfills these two requirements. First one is to support links within a PDF document to different internal pages, and the second one is the ability to add handwriting marks onto your PDF document. That's it. So that means that pretty much every Books device works, every Remarkable device works, every Supernote device works, Kindle Scribe versions from the original one, the latest versions works perfectly, WeWoods works nice, Penstar works nice, iPad works with, for example, Compatibility really well, Android tablets with corresponding PDF reader apps that allow you all this type of interaction, it will also work really well, but there are some exceptions that you need to be aware of. The first limitation that you really should kind of abide by is because this is a complex and large type of document, it contains a lot of information. It's very impractical to try and use it on devices that are smaller than 7-inch. I personally wouldn't advise you to use it on any device that's smaller than 7-inch or maybe 7.8-inch standard that we used to have that suddenly seems to have died off, sadly, boohoo. So here's an example. Even though it could work technically on the Books Palma or the Remarkable Paper Pro Move, I do not recommend using it on these devices because of the vertical format and because of the size of the screen on those devices. The second exception is basically manufacturers and devices that are simply not done well. The first one that comes to mind is Montblanc Digital Paper. I don't know if it has received an update to actually support this, but when it came out, it supported hyperlinks in ebooks, but not in PDF files. And as such, it doesn't fulfill the number one requirement, which is support of hyperlinks in PDF files. Montblanc doesn't have that unless they've improved it, but to the last of my knowledge, it didn't work. Similar story continues with iFlyTech. Now, while iFlyTech devices do support hyperlinks in PDF files, it's implemented not in a good way right now. It used to work good, but one of the recent updates has broken that functionality where the user interface interaction basically clashes with the hyperlinks on a page, and it's always prioritized over the hyperlink. So what does that mean? Well, that means that if you have the invisible kind of link for the, I don't know, going to the menu of your reader on top of the hyperlinks of any document, MDO included, when you try and tap on it, you will continuously get the menu and not the hyperlink itself. That is improper implementation of the functionality on iFlyTech. This is something that used to work properly, but as I mentioned, recent updates have broken that functionality. So there is hope that it might work well again, but the current state of things is on iFlyTech, these kinds of documents are not currently working properly. So where do you get it and what's included? Well, the first one is really easy. It's mydeepguide.com/shop. You just go there and you will not have any issues at finding the new MDO as it's clearly listed. What's included? That depends on which pack you choose from. Because I've introduced new variations and new colors as well, there are several different packages for you to choose from. So the first step that you need to choose is which type of planner do you want? Annual, academic, or fiscal type of a year. So those are all three different ones and you need to choose which one suits your needs best. For each of these three, you have the following choices. You can choose to have the grayscale pack, which is the traditional black and white or grayscale type of a planner. So no colors there, very tasteful, carefully calibrated grayscale palette that is designed to work with all of the devices cleanly. And if you choose the color pack, then you will get the grayscale, but you will also get the 4 different color palettes, each of which is coming in neutral and tinted variations, as I've already mentioned. So effectively, with the color pack, you're getting 9 different versions of the MDO to choose from. So those are the choices that you have to make. Do I need an annual, academic, or fiscal planner? And when I chose the type, do I want it in colors or grayscale? Once you've made that choice, then you boil down into a singular point. No matter which one you choose, you will get automatically the variations for the Sunday or Monday start versions, and for each of the Monday and Sunday week starts, you will get a choice for 24-hour or 12-hour time formats in the daily planner schedule. There is one point of difference between the grayscale pack and the color pack, and that is in the cover variations. If you choose the grayscale pack, for each of the Monday, Sunday 12 or 24-hour versions, you will get 3 different cover variations. So identical document, but it just comes in the cover 1, 2, or 3 variant. There's nothing else different between those documents other than the first cover page for visual differentiation. If you choose the color pack, you will not have the option to choose between covers because that would simply explode the number of files that you will have to kind of dig around through. So those are all locked with the same cover style, but for each of the Monday, Sunday start or 12, 24-hour, you will get that choice of 9 different color palettes. So quite a lot of stuff included in there. Once you've chosen which MDO is the right for you and you purchase it, I do wholeheartedly recommend that you go through the new and revised installation instructions manual that will be supplied with the your order. And it's especially important if you're a first-time user and you're not that tech savvy, so that you don't have any kind of issues. Additionally, I also wholeheartedly recommend that you go through the My Daily Organizer playlist, which is linked in every single video in the description down below on my channel, and there you will find a list of very, very useful videos such as commonly asked questions or how to get the best out of your Supernote or Books platforms, how to convert to notebooks, whether or not to use as a notebook or a document and things like that. So a lot of knowledge there and a lot of tips and tricks to help you get the best out of My Daily Organizer. So there we are. That's the new My Daily Organizer. It is now out on mydeepguide.com/shop, and I invite you to go and pick up your copy today. And for those who are existing MDO customers, you should look at in your email and your spam mailbox as well, because you should be receiving your email with a 30% loyalty discount. Please be patient with the rollout campaign because there's a lot of emails that need to be rolled out. So allow at least a day or two for the discount email code to reach you. And if you still haven't received it within, I don't know, let's say 48 hours from the release of this video, well then do reach out to me at mdo@mydeepguide.com and just send me any of your previous order numbers for verification, and I will ensure that you receive your voucher code. And if you have received it, please do remember to apply the voucher code before checking out so that you can get your 30% discount. Thank you so much for the fabulous several years of support. So from 2001, we're now at 2027. You speak, I listen, and I try to improve as best as I possibly can. And together you've helped me fine-tune something that I genuinely have used pretty much every single day during the 2025 and now in 2026 as well. I offer the product, you're helping me make it even better, and you are in that way a part of this community, and we're together making something that I'm really happy to say is helping literally thousands and thousands of people across the globe, and it's something that really makes me happy. So I hope that you enjoy the latest version, and thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!